So this morning I was walking through the woods, like the good Canadian I am, and as I was appreciating the beauty surrounding me, I couldn't help but think back on the time I spent in Yamanashi, exploring the area surrounding Mount Fuji in search of real-life anime locations. Everywhere I looked, there was something new and beautiful to see, and as I continued to walk and dream about Japan, I remembered a frequent sentiment in the comment section of the anime expedition that I was just so confused by. People would constantly say things like, "This proves that anime is better than real life," or "Reality is often disappointing," and I could not disagree with these statements more. In fact, I had the exact opposite experience. So today I want to dive a little deeper and explore the question, is anime more beautiful than real life? My first thought was that maybe pictures and videos just aren't enough to translate what it's actually like to be standing in these locations. So anyone just seeing the images might lean towards the fantasy version. But looking back on the blogs that inspired my trip to begin with, my thought was never how much better the anime looked. I was just more in awe at how talented the artists were at translating real life into 2D. And my opinion was only reaffirmed when I visited the locations for myself. Take the iconic staircase from Your Name, for example. When I turned the corner out of the alley and found myself looking directly at a scene from one of my favorite movies of all time, I was overcome with emotion and was unable to wipe the huge smile off my face. I probably spent around an hour here recreating scenes from the movie, and not once did it cross my mind that the real-world logistics were ruining the view. In fact, I just couldn't believe just how spot on the location was to the anime. Yes, there are far more power lines, and real life doesn't have a glow filter applied to it, but not only is it equally as clean, colorful, and unique, but you're experiencing the scene with all of your senses. Anime is unable to capture the silence that fills the backstreets of Tokyo, the smell of wet cement, the cold breeze in the air, and most of all, the amount of life everywhere you look. One thing that anime does have going for it, though, is its total lack of construction. You never see warning signs or blue fences obstructing your view of the scenery, but I never thought it took away from the experience while I was there. But that's all just urban areas. What about nature and interiors? See, this is where I get really confused, because as far as I can tell, my videos of real-world nature are virtually identical to the anime. So much so that I would occasionally get confused while I was editing them. The only thing missing from real life are the joyful anime characters saying "oh hi," "oh my god," nope, they're real. Aside from the unbelievable views, the best part about rural Japan is just how friendly and welcoming everyone is. No amount of anime watching could prepare you for the amount of times that you'll be greeted by friendly locals. So at this point you might be thinking, but Quint, what about the cherry blossoms? There's no way they're real. Baka. Now, unfortunately, since I'm not crazy enough to visit Japan during peak tourism months, I can't speak from experience, but there are a few other places in the world where cherry blossoms grow, and by the grace of God, of high school, Vancouver happens to be one of them. So let's go take a little field trip and see if we can find out for ourselves. Now that I think about it, cherry blossoms aren't actually in seasons. This was a total waste of time. Looks like baka on me. My little expedition didn't exactly work out, so time to check the internet. So I actually thought this was gonna work out in the commenters' favor, but holy the sakura petals do actually float through the air exactly like in anime. So that's 2 points real life, 0 points anime, but I'll give you one more chance. Anime interiors are usually extremely clean, well decorated, and full of light. So let's take a look at a few of the locations I managed to visit. I saw several comments on the K-On! Expedition saying things like, "Kinda creepy to see clips of the anime characters while the real-life Toyosato is empty like a ghost town," or "Seeing it that way makes me feel like they're died." Which, watching it back, I can actually understand. It was eerily quiet inside Toyosato Elementary School, and I don't know if we came on a slow day or what, but we were literally the only people walking around. So compared to the way it's portrayed in the anime, with students running around enjoying the springtime of their youth, it definitely does come off as melancholic. The one student we did see definitely did not seem to be enjoying his youth. But on the other hand, there was places like the Tokyo Sea Life Park from My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu, which was portrayed in an extremely somber tone in the anime, almost completely uninhabited apart from the service club. Whereas in real life, it was bustling with kids learning that
They're kind of like birds, huh?
Penguins actually are birds.
students on dates, and people trying to recreate scenes from anime. Okay, that last one might have just been me, but my point stands. As far as accuracy goes, the real-life interiors are pretty much indistinguishable from the anime. Last but not least, it wouldn't be right to talk about realism without giving a nod to the king himself, Makoto Shinkai, whose locations constantly blew me away, especially inside the National Art Center, which transports you right into Taki's date from Your Name. After going through the entire anime expedition, the only location I could find that you're definitely better off just watching the anime for was the Arashiyama Bamboo Grove, which is used in countless anime, but particularly the way it's portrayed in Snafu makes it seem so peaceful and dreamlike. When in reality, even on off days, you can barely move because there are just so many tourists posing for Instagram pictures. All in all, if you're struggling to find the beauty in reality, I highly recommend you plan your own anime expedition and visit Japan for yourself. I promise you won't at all be disappointed. In fact, you may even have a hard time watching anime after you get back without thinking how much better it would be to be there in person. If you want to follow my itinerary and visit the same locations I did, all my maps are available on my Patreon, link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. My only goal is to spread my love for Japan and anime, of course, so that's why I'll continue to make videos here every week about whatever kinda neat nonsense comes to mind.